July 9th, 2014, 6 p.m., ESPN Radio, Joplin, Missouri, live from the Murdoch Properties Man Cave. A phenomenon known as the Sports Edge was born. Three former local sports stars, Rob Forrest, a third-string point guard on the JV men's basketball team for Joplin High, and Tucker Hagedorn, the widely considered Yadier Molina of your Missouri Southern State Lions, flipped on their microphones and transformed the sports radio industry in Joplin as we know it, while former Eagle football and baseball phenom Todd Green introduced the Sports Edge to social media. Now, whether you've streamed it online at espnjoplin.com, downloaded the WMBH app, or listened to 1560 AM, you may have heard this.
Let's get ready to rumble!
It's time for the Saturday Sports Edge with Robin Tuck. Joplin's #1 sports talk show on ESPN Radio Joplin.
Live from 609 downtown Joplin. Tuck, one of our favorite spots here in town. 2-for-1s, great food, great atmosphere. Great to be here at 609 tonight.
And welcome back, broadcasting live from Will Norton Miracle Field. Ron Faust and Larry Larimore here, and joining us, a jubilant Rex Hudler
from the Mizzou Alumni Blood Drive, live at the Harley-Davidson store out here on 44th and Main. The Sports Edge is live out here on a Wednesday night. Great to be out here, and it's a great Saturday to be with you. Rob Forrest, Tucker Hagedorn, live in Columbia, Missouri for your Missouri Tigers, Kentucky Wildcats here on a great day for college football. As we are just about each and every Saturday, live from Buffalo Wild Wings, 4th and Range Line, Wings, Beer, and Sports. That's the way we do it here. The wings are hot. The beer is cold. We got the 82s running around, serving everybody up. It's a great day to be out here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Lots of college football. We got NFL football this weekend. This is the place to be for all your sports this weekend. Come on out. Great to be here with you on a Wednesday night for the Sports Edge here on ESPN Radio in Joplin. We are live from my place where I get my haircut each and every month. The Brush and Blade from the Griffin Building, 10th and Main. Tuck, this is one of my favorite places in town, I'm telling you.
Speaking of the Cardinals and Royals, I believe we have Rick Yankee will join us right now. Rick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
It's our pleasure here on the Sports Edge to welcome in Chiefs Hall of Famer Will Shields. Will, how are you? Back on the Sports Edge, ESPN Radio Joplin, alongside Tucker Hagedorn. I am Rob Forrest, and we welcome in a local legend here, Webb City High School state football champion, Nebraska Cornhusker national football champion, and Super Bowl champion with the St. Louis Rams, Grant Wistrom. Grant, how are you?
We welcome in now Bill Hancock, Executive Director for the College Football Playoff Committee. Bill, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me to be on.
October brought baseball fans in Missouri to the edge of their seats, and Rob and Tuck were there to narrate history to Joplin sports fans, even better than Morgan Freeman ever could.
Speaking of a possible Cardinals-Royals World Series, if we get it here in 2014, it'd be great. Hasn't happened since 1985. And with that said, a guy who pitched in that 1985 World Series for the St. Louis Cardinals, Ken Daly, joins us. Ken, how are you?
For all you college football fans. Yes, the boys rattled off the greatest college football preview this great town has ever heard.
Continuing on our SEC preview here, we welcome in Christopher Walsh, University of Alabama. Roll Tide. It's going to be a great year. Looks like, at least on paper, for Alabama. Chris, how are you, sir? Back on the Sports Edge, ESPN Radio Joplin, and joining us now on the Sports Edge, voice of the Auburn Tigers, Rod Bramlett. Rod, how are you? Continuing on with our SEC preview, it is Rob Forrest, Tucker Hagedorn, Sports Edge, ESPN Radio Joplin. And joining us from the Georgia Bulldogs down in Athens, Georgia, it is Anthony Dasher. Anthony, welcome to the program. It's our pleasure to welcome in the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, Dave South. Dave, how are you, sir? We're back with the Sports Edge here on ESPN Radio Joplin, live from South Carolina. Beat writer for the South Carolina Gamecocks, Scott Hood. How are you, Scott?
All right, I believe we are joined by Pat Jenkins from Hog Radio and 99.5 FM. Pat, how are you, sir? Well, I'll tell you what, let's switch back over to this Mizzou-Indiana game. We are joined from allhoosiers.com, publisher Terry Hutchins. Terry, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing?
NFL, you ask? Oh, yes. In seemingly epic fashion, the Sports Edge covered the country's most popular sport as only they can.
We are welcoming the executive producer of Chiefs Football Radio Network, Dan Israel. Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Westwood One Sunday Night Football play-by-play broadcaster Kevin Kugler joins us here on the Sports Edge. A guy who actually did the very first NFL draft on ESPN alongside Mel Kiper. It is my former colleague in St. Louis, Missouri, Howard Balzer. Howard, how are you, sir?
And, of course, we would never forget our local teams right here in our own backyard.
Alongside Tucker Hagedorn, I'm Rob Forrest. We got a great show for you lined up, don't we?
We sure do.
We got
excited about this one.
Former Mizzou Tiger, current Joplin High School head coach, Jeff Hayford, in studio with us. Jeff, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
I sometimes wonder how this Hollywood story could be possible. So I called the boys at the Sports Edge and asked them personally, and they told me, Morgan, the people listening right now are the people that made this all happen.
Hey, let's recap. So you got Rob, Tuck, Ron, and Todd running the Sports Edge over here. Hey, boom. You got the Sports Edge sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings, SMB, Club 1201. You got Melissa Hogan Farmers Insurance and Brush and Blade, Murdoch Properties, Litho Printing, Sugar Designs, and Club 609 over here. Hey, they're paying the bills. Boom. And then you got the listener giving the sponsors the best ROI marketing campaign in Joplin. Boom.